Hey everybody, it's Josh from WA Production, and today I'm excited to share with you a new synth. And I love going over synths because it's very interesting to me how different companies and different developers will come up with new ways to innovate and create new tools that producers can use to make very interesting sounds. And that's just what Karanyi Sounds have done here with their new synth, Minipol. So Minipol, in many ways, operates like a lot of other synths. It's got 4 oscillators, which is more than most synths, I would say. It's got noise, it's got a sub layer, it's got filters, it's got ADSR, it's got effects, all those sorts of things. But it also has this really interesting smart randomization feature. And so today I'm going to show you what that does, as well as the rest of the parameters of the plugin, and see what you think. I think it's going to be a really interesting creative tool for producers to come up with new sounds, stretch the limits of their production skills, and find inspiration in a new way. So let's get started. So first I want to share with you just some of the sounds of the plugin. So we'll go through some of the presets just randomly here. So as you can tell, there are a lot of interesting sounds you can create with this plugin. I particularly like all the innovative sounds with movement and kind of that creepy vibe. It's a virtual analog synth, so it's kind of intended to sound analog and is modeled after those sorts of things. And it does have actual samples in it, so it's kind of a mix of a rompler and a traditional synth. So now I'll just go over kind of how the plugin works and show you the different parameters and what makes it unique. So as I said before, there are 4 different oscillators. Up here, you can select what waveform each oscillator is. So you hold it and drag up or down to switch between the 4 basic wave shapes. You can do that on any of them. You've got your gain controls for each oscillator here, fine tuning knobs, up or down an octave basically here, and then panning. So as you'll notice, many of the knobs here are different colors. Those correspond to the colors down here in the smart randomization bar. So first of all, we can click this button and it'll randomize our various wave shapes. You can also click this red button and it'll randomize just the different red knobs in this section. Same with the green and blue. That will randomize our tuning and panning, as well as our color, wow, and type. And then finally, this one will randomize all of the above. So down here, you can see there's a noise oscillator and a sub oscillator as well. The noise oscillator has gain and it has color. So I'll just turn off all the other oscillators real quick so we can just hear that. Probably turn off these other things as well. We adjust the color, that kind of acts like a filter. And then the sub oscillator, similar. There are 3 different types of sub oscillators. Those are recorded from actual analog synth. And you can read online if you want more detail about exactly the difference between the 3. Cool. Over here, we've got a velocity knob. You'll notice that it isn't a color. It's just gray. This knob, along with any other gray knobs, are not affected by the smart randomization bar. So this is just deciding how much your velocity will affect the gain of the sound. And then you've got the wow, which will add some modulation in the tone to make it sound a little bit more analog, kind of like a tape player. Cool. Moving on to the time and movement section, we have our typical ADSR envelope, which will control how the sound behaves over time. And then below that is our filter section. So they've got low pass, band pass, and high pass filters. You can select the amount of the filter as well as the frequency that it affects, and the Q, which is basically how narrow or wide it is. And then the filter envelope. So that determines how the filter behaves over time. Down here is the filter LFO. So you can adjust the filter opening and closing on a certain set rate, whether it's synced with the BPM of your track or just based on a certain speed that you set here. And down here is the gain LFO, which lets you edit an LFO, which controls the gain of your sound. And similarly to the last section, you can click this one to randomize the ADSR controls. You can click here to randomize the different settings within the LFOs and the filter. And then you can click here to randomize them all. And then finally, let's come over here to the effects section. So we have a filter, we have a delay, we have a chorus, we have tone, which is an EQ, and space, which is reverb. So for the filter, pretty straightforward. You've got low pass, band pass, and high pass, similar to the filter controls over here, but they are globally applied at the end of the chain. Well, after you've done these two things. And then the delay, which can be either a ping pong delay going back and forth from left to right, or mono delay, which just is synced on both sides. The amount and the feedback of it, pretty standard delay controls. Chorus, again, can add a chorus effect, a width kind of effect to it, and the different controls here. The EQ is a standard 3-band EQ, low, mids, and high, so you can adjust accordingly how your sound will sound. And then finally, you've got your reverb here. We've got several different kinds of reverb, which is really great. Lots of different styles. And you can select what sounds best for you and modulate the dry and wet knobs independently, which is pretty nice as well. It's not just a dry wet knob, so you can actually have the full dry signal with full wet signal or some other mix in between, which is pretty nice. Cool. And then down here, as with the others, you can click the red button, which will adjust the red knobs here. You can click the green and blue button, which will adjust the green and blue options. It also randomizes the type of reverb as well. And then finally, you can adjust all of them here. And if you want to go really crazy, just coming up with new sounds, you can randomize everything, again, except for these gray knobs. You can randomize everything by clicking this one. What I also really like about this plugin is that while it's really powerful, it's just one screen. There aren't a bunch of hidden menus. There aren't a bunch of extra buttons you need to tap to really understand the plugin. This is pretty much it. you've got your presets, you've got basically your MIDI settings, nothing super important over here unless you're doing something more complicated. And over here, you can adjust the UI zoom. But aside from that, it's just this one page here with all your settings. I think it's a really great plugin to create really interesting movement in your track, different soundscapes, as well as if you're going for that really analog sound. There's a lot of great sounds you can create using the synth. So I think it's really awesome for inspiration. You can just click this button down here and try out new sounds and see what fits, and then tweak them the way you want them. But I really like also that you can selectively randomize. So if you like all the other settings but you want to mess with just the effects, you can do that, or just specifically certain parameters within the effects, you can do that. So I just think it's a lot of fun, and it definitely got my creative juices flowing. I hope you guys like the plugin. I think it'll be really helpful for you. So stay tuned for more from us, but for now, I suggest you go check out Minipol. It's available on waproduction.com now, and honestly, it's a really good price and a lot of fun to play with, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys thought this video was helpful, and I will catch you guys next time.